Welcome to the Fantasy Football Locker Room, hosted on the channel, The Fantasy Football Perspective. I am your host, Lucas, with my co-host, BJ and Andrew. Let's give a quick shout out to Adam Levine real quick for his sext messages getting posted all over the internet. We were just talking about that before we went on the air. What a good guy that guy is. How you guys doing?
Great person.
Got a good weekend coming up, man. Got a great weekend. Got a lot of stuff going on.
Buckeyes blackout.
Blackout, where me and BJ are going to the game. A lot of people going to the game. Should be a great night as we just beat the living hell out of the Wisconsin Badgers. As Ohio fans, let's recap the Ohio football over the weekend. BJ, take the floor. Walk me through that Cleveland Browns game, dude.
The only thing that I can say is thank God we have the Buckeyes. That's it. I mean, thank God we have the Buckeyes. Sitting there, we had 2 minutes to go.
Dude, I legitimately shut off the TV. I'm not messing with you when I say that. When you sent that group message and you said, there you go, Polly, there's the long touchdown that we always give up to Corey Davis, I was like,
Yep.
That's not good. And then where I watch my games at, my game's a little bit like behind on YouTube TV. So you and my brother see everything about 10 seconds ahead of what I do. And my brother sent me a sideways face after you sent me that, like maybe 5 minutes later. I was like, this isn't good. So I flipped it on.
You called it, man.
I flipped it on, dude, and they were recovering the onside kick. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh man!
And you just knew you knew they were going to score. Our DBs are absolute trash.
Yeah.
Delpit especially, he gets exposed. And Denzel Ward was the lowest graded person on defense. But enough about the Browns. They made me sad. In my head, we're still 2-0. Go Browns. Interesting fact about the Browns that you wouldn't really guess. They have scored on 55% of their possessions, the highest rate in the NFL. Their offense has been the most efficient offense in the NFL when it comes to scoring points. That's kind of crazy to think about.
That's insane.
And their defense let us down. And then,
crazy
I sat down. I was like, maybe the Bengals will bring me joy. I picked the Bengals all over the place, Fanduel. Defense. The Bengals defense usually is pretty damn solid playing against who are they? Oh, Cooper Rush. And Andy walked me through that game. What in the world's going on?
I have no idea, man. I think Burrow holds the ball too long. I think it's a combination of that and poor offensive line play.
Yep.
Especially Collins. I don't know what's going on. They have a lot to work on before I start getting optimistic about the Bengals again.
Yeah.
Burrow looks confused out there. I'm not for sure if he's nervous or scared or.
Well, I don't know if you remember last year, me and BJ, maybe about week 5, were talking about Burrow, and we both were he kind of looked like this at the beginning of last year. And then he started to turn it on. They started getting the ball out faster. I think the offensive scheme does not fit the Bengals well because they have these long, elaborate routes that the receivers have to go, and you literally have to hold the ball a while for them to get through their cuts, and they can't get through their cuts, and there's nowhere to throw the ball. So he tries to extend the play, and the dude's coming off a torn ACL not too long ago. He doesn't want to stay up there that long. You can't blame him.
Heck no.
He's like, he doesn't have the best arm. He doesn't make the best reads, but that guy is a gamer. And when it comes down to the fourth quarter, he makes some really, really competitive plays. And it's like, where's this offense the whole time? You know what I mean?
Alex Smith 2.0.
No, he's better than Alex Smith. But I do think his best trait is his competitiveness. And when you take his mobility away from his previous injuries, that really limits his upside. And they have to do quicker passes. They have to do like a Tom Brady type offense where they get the ball out super fast. Sure. These long, elaborate routes, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. We're going to see sack. But they'll figure it out. They did last year. They looked like this a couple of games last year. Then they figured it out. But we start off the show every week. BJ didn't have the best week in FanDuel last week. But he's feeling optimistic, and we'll start it off with BJ's pregame speech.
All right. I had a terrible week. Thank God I didn't put in even more money than I thought, because I thought we had this on lock. We talked the whole week last week about how we thought we had it in the bag and we had this under control, but I had a terrible week. Andy and Paulie, thankfully, you guys had a good week. I was getting on Paulie last week. He needed to step up. He did. He brung home some money last week. I'm proud of him. Andy's always consistent every week, but I need to step my game up. I'm a piece of shit, and I will be better. So, believe that. And I got my Trent Richardson jersey on right here, boys. You like that? That's Trent Richardson. I'm ready to roll.
I got my Garrett jersey on. BJ and I are going to go watch the game after this, and he's going to have a better week in FanDuel. Andrew, how'd you do in FanDuel last week?
Not the greatest, actually. I won a little over $20. I was in for around 70, so need a little bounce back this week. But like you, I picked a lot of Bengals, and that was a mistake. Yeah. Complete letdown.
I legitimately picked a Bengals defense in every lineup, and it didn't kill me. I ended up cashing out with $104, had $116 in for a loss of $12. It's like, those are the weeks that it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? You just roll that over into the next week. I'm putting $0 into it, and I don't have to worry about it.
Feel pretty good about that.
Exactly.
Those are awesome.
But as I said in the last episode, I felt like the first week I had too many variations of people. I wasn't sticking to the same core group of players. I was just trying to plug everybody in a lineup. And that, I never do well when I do that. The only way I do well is if I make 5 lineups with the same core of people and different quarterback stacks, 5 lineups with a different core. I have to do it like that. I don't know why. I've never had good luck the other way. How do you guys kind of go into that?
My week 1, I had a core set of players I picked, and I did way better than week 2. Mm-hmm. Week 2, I did a lot of variations with majority Cincinnati. I think I did 4 Burrow lineups and Mixon lineups, and that was a complete mistake. But this week, I have a core set of players I like, and I want to build around them.
Yeah, Paul, I did what you did. The other week, I just started mix matching players. I didn't go for the core. I loved him on Raw. I picked him everywhere, but my core just wasn't surrounded by him. Like Nick Chubb, you had a great stat the other week about Nick Chubb after I think it's if we're more than 6-point favorites, he goes off in the second game or something.
He averages more than 20 points a game when they're.
You called that last week, and I played him in a decent amount, but I played a lot of Jamar Chase, and he really let me down. I was really high on him. I thought Burrow would have a snapback game, and he would target Jamar, but their offense is just, they're in shambles right now. They need to figure something out.
It's not even just the offense; it's running backs in general in the NFL. What is going on? Nick Chubb led the slate with 30 points. The next was Tony Pollard with 17. Running backs seem like they don't matter anymore in this NFL. That's what I was trying to tell people on my fantasy football videos going into this offseason. 0 RB or 1 good RB and stacking up on those receivers. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. If you drafted Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, even McCaffrey over the likes of Jefferson, Kupp, even Chase, I mean, they have way higher upside points per game than any running back out there. Jonathan Taylor even sucked.
Yeah, have you seen my Dynasty 1 lineup? My Dynasty 1? I have John Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris, 0-2.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Start to see.
The NFL is changing. I think it used to be more run dominant. I think most backfields now are splitting carries a lot more often than not, and it's more pass heavy. So receivers matter.
It feels like the way the NBA was with 3 points. Like it's turning.
It's switching. I think receivers are scoring the points, and not only that, they give you a lower floor than running backs. So
which is crazy. Cooper Kupp, for example.
Yeah, I mean, even if you throw in someone off the street, like someone who's going to get snaps, like a Jahan Dotson, he's scoring touchdowns. He's having 10 points a game. He scored more than Jonathan Taylor did last week. I don't even know. I'm changing my mindset.
It's so confusing right now.
I'm changing my mindset completely. Tight ends all suck too, besides Kelsey and Andrews. We were talking about Kyle Pitts today. We'll dig in. I don't want to keep talking and rambling on about this, but the landscape of the NFL, especially regarding fantasy football, is definitely changing, in my opinion. But let's get in. We're going to talk about our bets last week. I think as a team we went 3-1, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Jim Stroker started off. I actually had 2 bets. I won 1 bet and lost 1, so I'm actually going to give the one I lost. I'm not going to do that to you guys. Chargers at Chiefs. Jim Stroker said it's going to be under. He was buying 1.5, and it went to 55 points. That's what his under was, and he hit that bet. Jim Stroker on the season, boys. 5-1 on his bet.
This is free money.
Free money if you bet Jim Stroker's picks. I mean, tell me another analyst out there batting 80%. I mean, that's crazy. He's 5-1 on the year, under 55, and he's smart about it. He's like, buy a couple points, make it safer, win the bet. Win the bet. Lucas picked the Saints to cover 2.0. The game looked really close till the fourth quarter. Jameis Winston started throwing interceptions. I wish I could have went back and picked the under. I would have picked the under as well. That they weren't going to score points. The Saints defense is way too damn good. We had our annual Mike Evans blindside and Marshawn Lattimore. It just happens every year for whatever reason.
My favorite.
Love it. My favorite too. Andy, great pick. Penn State to win the game outright over Auburn. Auburn was favored, right?
Yeah, they were, I believe they were, which is crazy.
I mean, that's pathetic. That's the worst line I've ever seen. Not only did Auburn win, I mean, Penn State was favored by minus 2.5. They beat the living crap out of them.
Yeah,
Auburn didn't even belong on the same field. SEC pride, baby. And then
Auburn's horrible.
BJ with the Ohio State over, he was talking about how he thought Toledo was going to score a couple late touchdowns. Well, they didn't even need that. Ohio State did the over by himself. And not only that, they blew it out of the water. 14 points. Over the over. So, great bets. My other bet was pick the Chiefs. They were favored by -4. I said buy 1.5, get it to -2.5, and they covered that. So 1-1, but I'm going to count my loss instead because I don't think that's fair because I gave 2 bets. So on the year, Jim Stroker, 5-1. Lucas, 1-1 on the year. Andy, 1-1 on the year. And BJ, 1-1 on the year on our bets of the week. And Jim Stroker has a couple blazing 5, as he said, right off the press. You guys got the message too, right? How about you guys read us? One of you guys read us Jim's blazing 5.
Andy, you read it.
Sure. Give me a second here. Pull it up. Jim's blazing 5 this week. Hot off the press. Coastal. He wants Coastal -2.5. He wants Chattanooga +23, and he's buying 1.5 points in that game. Here is his lock. The lock of the week: Steelers Browns under 39.5, and he's buying 1.5. 1.5 points in that game. That is his lock. Under 39.5. It's a good bet. Really good bet. Bonus pick. Virginia Tech +3.5, and he's buying 1 point to get it to 4.5.
Here you boys go. Free money.
Free money. Lock him in.
Jim Stroker is going to bet at least 50% on this. So if you put $100 on each game, you're going to break even. I'm just saying. He's really good at this stuff. He's 5-1. If you put $100 on every game this year that Jim Stroker has told you to bet on, you're about $500 up. $450 to $500 up. Think about that, boys. That is free money. Free money. Do you guys have any bets you guys like this week? I know I'm going to start us off this week. There's a bet that has stood out to me since I've seen it this morning. I mean, it's not even... There is literally zero doubt in my mind unless this individual gets hurt, and that involves tonight's game as well. Deontay Johnson over under 55.5 receiving yards. I don't know if you guys have watched the Browns in the fourth quarter, but I'm going to guess it's going to go the same as every Browns game this year. They're going to look great until the fourth quarter, and then they're going to start giving up chunk plays. It wouldn't surprise me if Deontay Johnson got more than 55 yards in the fourth quarter alone. He is going to beat that. And it's going to be dink and duck. You're going to look. It's going to go into the fourth quarter. He's going to have like 39 to 42 yards and be like, well, it's going to be close. Then he'll get a he'll get a 50-yard touchdown pass. It'll happen. Mark my words. So that's my bet of the week. Deontay Johnson over 55.5 yards. Steelers aren't going to beat the Browns tonight, though. I will say that. The Browns will beat the Browns. BJ, what's your bet?
Yeah, man, I'm going to move over to college football. I really, really, really like Maryland to cover against Michigan. Michigan has not seen an opponent worth a lick all season. They have played the bottom 25. I think 3 out of the bottom 25 as their first 3 games. Of course, they're going to monster them. I think Maryland is – I'm scared of Maryland because, as a Buckeye, I think that's a trap game going into the thing. I hope the Buckeyes don't overlook them. I think they can score. So I'm going to take Maryland plus 17.
You buying any points on that?
Nah, I keep it. I keep plus 17. I'd roll with it.
All right. I like that bet a lot, too. You're right. They haven't played anybody. Not only that, they played 3 of the worst 5 teams in the country. And they are getting juiced up about that. This is the first team that they played with a pulse. Anyway, Andy, go ahead. What's your bet of the week?
Right there at noon, that battle in the ACC between Clemson and Wake Forest. I have that wrote down there that this game is going to be close. When I looked at the line yesterday, it was Wake Forest plus 7.5. So I think Wake Forest is going to cover. It's going to be a super close game, competitive.
You buying any points to
like
that?
It.
You did 7.5.
I'm gonna leave it at 7, but when it was 7.5, I had wrote down to buy a half.
Yep, I think you should get it to 7.5, which you wrote down yesterday. I think that's a safe bet. Won't surprise me if Clemson won by a touchdown, but you're still going to win your bet like that. You're right. I think that's a really good game. Clemson's offense is not good.
Right above the Maryland-Michigan game is that Wake Forest Clemson on my app. So.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be. I about said if you get a little frisky, just take Wake Forest straight up.
That's a good game, man.
Wake Forest can score. They're a good team. They're a good little team. Yep. They looked good last week. But to recap, I like Deontay Johnson over 55. BJ likes Maryland to cover plus 17, and Andrew likes Wake Forest plus 7, buying a half point to get plus 7.5. Those are our bets of the week. We already went over Jim's bets of the week, and we are now transitioning into our Fanduel. But before we do that, Andrew, do you have a stat of the week for us?
Yeah, I got a stat for you here. It also this week, not football related. Again,
that's the way I like it.
I saw it this weekend on Twitter, which is just random. It blew my mind. The average person checks their phone 58 times per day. Did you know that? You pick up your phone and unlock it 58 times a day.
I'm a little over that.
I think us three probably destroy that.
And I read more. I dug deep because I looked at that and I Googled it, and some studies have it higher, 80 to 100 times a day.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
We're bionic, man. It's a part of us. It's a part of our body. So
muscle memory now, man. You do it and you don't even know it.
I can't go to the bathroom without my phone, man. If I don't have something to do while I'm in the restroom, it's like it gives me anxiety. I don't know. I just can't sit there and stare. It
really is.
I remember when your brother went on vacation with us. My mom took all our phones and said nobody on their phone during this dinner, and Adam couldn't sit there for that 25 minutes without sneaking looking at his phone.
Wasn't that back in 2009?
That was far, dude. And we were already hooked. It's like, I get it, man. You just feel unconnected. Right now, man, I'm just like living the life, checking fantasy football like multiple times a day, see if trades are going through. Like, I can't stop.
Yeah. No, I can't either.
Mm-hmm. But let's dig in. As our FanDuel show kicks off, we always start every game with the over-unders. Andrew, BJ read it last week. Go ahead, my friend.
All right. Sunday slate, starting off with Las Vegas Raiders versus Tennessee Titans. 45.5 points there. Bengals Jets, 45 total there. Bills versus the Dolphins, 52.5. That's a good game right there. Love that one. We got Eagles and Commanders, 47.5. We got Chiefs Colts, 50.5 point total. And Texans Bears, 40. Ugh, that's a bad game. Saints and Panthers, total of 41. Ravens and Patriots, 44. And this one really surprises me. If you told me at the beginning of the season, Lions versus Vikings, 52.5 point total, I wouldn't have believed it. But there it is.
And it's a dome, so that's a great.
Oh yeah. Jaguars Chargers, 47.5 point total. Packers Buccaneers, 42. And Rams Cardinals, 48.5.
This weather this weekend looks good, man.
I know. And another bad game. Falcons Seahawks, 41.5.
Yeah,
and that's it for the main slate.
Let's talk about the Lions real quick, man. They are legit. I mean, they're
hungry.
They took the Eagles down to the wire, and the Eagles, in my opinion, look like the best team in the NFC. And they were playing. I mean, they were in it. They lost by 3, right? They are legit, and they can score, and they have some weapons. And man, oh man, Amon-Ra St. Brown boys, that boy can play. I told you guys, I told everyone, me and BJ were on the train. I said, draft him in the 6th round. He's going to be a wide receiver 1. I mean, he could be the wide receiver 1. I didn't think he was going to be that good. But
Lions, man, the Lions always have one good receiver. It was Kenny Golladay there for a while. It's Calvin Johnson before him. And now Amon-Ra.
And
they always have one.
You guys are big, and then you got little Amon-Ra.
But we were in a group chat. We always talk about stuff like randomly, but we were talking about college teammates. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase gets brought up a lot, and then you got DK and AJ Brown. What about that USC trio, man? Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Michael Pittman all on the same USC team. They could all be all pros. And not only that, Drake London had an over 30% target share with those players. I mean, that's literally crazy. Drake London, I'm starting to think he could be like top 5.
He's good.
He's very good.
He's so good.
I can't believe he's that good. I mean, I was sleeping on him big time. BJ, very good call passing on Breece Hall in your rookie drafts and taking Garrett Wilson. Smart. Garrett Wilson looked phenomenal this weekend. I mean, he was on the winning lineup.
Yeah.
But
he's the guy, man. He's the guy. I watched him all. Being a Buckeye fan, root for him and Chris Olave. But I was a huge, you guys know, watching Buckeyes, I loved Garrett Wilson, man. So I was on the hype train, man, and just watching him as a freshman in the Buckeyes, and when he made that catch against Clemson, you just knew he's special. So he looks like the guy in New York, man. He really does.
And what I was going to say too is our lineup cashed last week, but we weren't able to get the word out. We switched off Matt Ryan once Michael Pittman was out, and we went Carson Wentz instead. And Carson Wentz put up 30 Fanduel points again, and I stacked him with Curtis Samuel. So, FYI, we did make a switch and it did cash. But look at the $1 million lineup of last week. It's not very often. That 2 wide receivers from the same team lead the slate in receiving. That's kind of crazy. I can't remember any week that happened. Can you guys?
It was the Vikings. I think last year before, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen did it.
It happens maybe once a season.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't play many Dolphins last week. I played a couple lineups of Waddle and 1 or 2 lineups of Hill, never together, and I was 0% owned on Tua. He had a great game. I think a little bit's inflated. I don't know if you guys know this, but neither of the starting corners for the Ravens played. They had their rookies in and a rookie safety, and they were literally destroying them. They were in prevent defense the majority of that game, and I think they just got a rhythm. I think it was kind of like lightning strike. I don't think that's going to continue. We'll find out this week how real they are. They play the Bills. The Bills secondary could be the best in the game, to be honest with you. Good corners and great safeties. If they do it to the Bills, I'll eat my words. Funny story about that.
Dolphins won't score 10 points.
Yeah, that one's a surprise. I mean, they only had 10 points going into the third quarter?
Yeah.
They scored 28 in the fourth or something crazy.
28 points.
That's crazy. But I made a TikTok back in the day talking about how I'd pass on Tyreek Hill at that price, the second round pick, because I didn't trust Tua and his arm and the competition. And someone sought me out a month after and said, "Can we revisit this?"
No.
That happened to me yesterday. I said, "Can we talk after this weekend, dude? When you guys have 7 points."
Yeah.
So I'm eager to message him back on Monday morning and say, "Can we revisit this?" I'm really eager. So we'll see what happens. But Damian Harris looking good like always. He's always a sneaky play. He always gets you 15 somehow. And Garrett Wilson, that man. And
phenomenal.
One of my favorite plays of this week moving in is that Dortch guy down there. He's only 5,100. He's probably the cheapest guy that you can actually put into your lineup that can score 10 points, honestly. But I'm not going to take your guys' thunder, so let's get into this. BJ, start us off. You're the wide receiver, man.
Start off. So last week I struggled. I thought Jamar Chase would snap back, man. He didn't at all. So I'm going to move on this week, and I'm going to go to the other guy who I love this week. I love T. Higgins. I think him. I'm actually going to put these guys side by side. I know you said Dortch for Arizona, but I love the opposite, and I think he's going to be very low owned, and I like Marquise Brown this week. So my two guys I put almost evenly in my page are Marquise Brown and T. Higgins. T. Higgins a little more for me. I think I like him a little more, but I do like Marquise Brown also. Looking down there, I think Amon-Ra. I think what he do? He tied. Did he tie the record?
I don't know if we can. I don't think I have a lineup without Amon.
Yeah, I don't think that. I just think he's going to break the record, man. I think there's no way. I've watched a little bit of that game, and Jared Goff loves him, man. And he's amazing. He's just amazing. He just gets open, man.
He gets open, and they run plays for behind the line of scrimmage. So it's like he doesn't have to get open. They're running screens, end arounds, little quick passes. It's like they're going to get him that record. You know what I mean? So I like those. Be careful about Marquise Brown in the Arizona Cardinals, though. Modern Warfare 2 comes out this weekend. We know how Kyler is. So keep your head on a swivel with that.
Yeah, man. Looking down here too, another guy that I think is a very sneaky play because I think Patrick Mahomes this week has a great week against Indianapolis. The Colts defense seems garbage. They're missing a couple, linebackers and stuff. They just don't seem like what we thought they'd be on defense. I love Juju Smith. I think that he is due for a breakout game. He's due for it. And I think Patrick Mahomes has a great week this week. I mean, you can't go off of Travis Kelce, too. He's going to get, his 9-10 usual targets. But I can see Juju lining up and maybe getting a touchdown or two this week, too. So I really like Juju. And then right below him, Garrett Wilson again. I'd go right back to him. I'd go right. Cooper Rush kind of lit that Bengals secondary up a little bit. And, Garrett Wilson looked amazing. Joe Flacco, I said this. Nick didn't agree with me. But I thought Joe Flacco was a better fit for their receiving corps than Zach Wilson, and I'm sticking to it. So I like Garrett Wilson, man. And Joe Flacco, he's a vet, he's a gamer, dude, and he'd run it down our throats to beat us. And it's awful. I can't even think about it. But yeah, man. And then I think a sneaky play for me is I like Mac Hollins. You have Las Vegas Raiders. You have Hunter Renfrow, who's probably not going to play this week. Mac Hollins got what did it say? 8 targets? They loved him in the preseason. They loved him in camp. I picked him on some of the best balls that I did because the stuff I read about him. So I think for that 5,300 price, I think that's a great target share guy right there.
I saw an interesting stat about Mac Hollins. He is top 5 in third down completions, which is pretty crazy. Across the whole NFL, they really target him on third down. So I like those picks, and we're going to roll with T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, and Amon St. Brown. They're entering the lineup. We'll see how much money we have left to fill that flex. All right, Andrew, the running back room, the dreadful running backs. Who we rolling with?
Running backs. My running back play of the week will be Leonard Fournette for 7,200. I think that's very cheap for Leonard. He's had 20-plus carries in the last 2 games. Tampa Bay's wide receiver room is injured, running thin. Mike Evans is suspended because he beat the crap out of Lattimore. So they're running short on playmakers. I think this is a Leonard Fournette week. We all know he sees targets. He made a tweet about touchdowns are coming.
Yeah.
So
it's coming.
we got all that going behind us. I think he is definitely a lock for this week in multiple lineups. Be careful with the questionable tag, but I think he does play. Some more running backs I like. I like Antonio Gibson as my second for 6,700. He's very solid this year. He's seeing some targets. He gets majority of the workload, so I think he's a lock this week. I also like Dalvin Cook as a pivot from the Vikings receivers. I think everybody's going to be on Jefferson. I think that the opposite might happen, and I think it might be a Dalvin Cook week. He hasn't done too much this year, so...
If Akuda walks up Jefferson, watch out for that, man.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's a dog.
I think that's a good contrarian play there. Low owned, and we'll go back with Joe Mixon as my fourth pick this week for a running back. He seems to be solid. You know, he'll get the job done, and that's who I'm liking this week for running backs.
You have any cheaper options you have your eye on?
Cheaper options, not necessarily. Maybe Josh Jacobs for 6,500.
The guy I really like is Dameon Pierce. He's starting to see them. He's starting to see a lot more touches, and Chicago's run defense is atrocious. I feel like a lot of people are going to be more on David Montgomery rather than Dameon Pierce, and for the price, I think I'd take Dameon Pierce over.
I like David Montgomery and Dameon Pierce. I also like, crazy enough, I like Travis Etienne. I think the I think the Chargers are going to, have a 14-point lead. They're going to have to throw the ball, and that's Travis Etienne's wheelhouse.
Yep.
He's the pass catcher. So if he doubled his touches going into week 2, who says that workload can't continue? Interesting stack about James Robinson. You know, he has some touchdowns, but he has one rush of 37 yards. You take that rush out, he's like 22 rushes for 27 yards. That's not good.
My gosh.
It's not good when you start digging in.
That's horrible.
He has one great run that's just elevating everything. But he is getting the touchdowns, which is a little different. So stick with that.
Travis Etienne would be a true RB1 if he didn't have James Robinson there, man. His touches.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. He looks great.
Very shifty.
Yeah, man. He looks great.
Yep, he's crazy, man.
Yeah. Rushing yard 64 on 15, 20 attempts. So that's not very good.
One of those was 37 yards, too.
Exactly.
So, all right. We have about 5 minutes here. I'm going to go to my QB. There are some very good options. Why is Kyler Murray less than 8,000? Are they giving him the Call of Duty discount?
They're giving you the Call of Duty discount.
That's a high-scoring game, too.
Mm-hmm. I also like Jalen Hurts here at 8,100. I like them both.
Love them.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go defense real quick because I want to see how much money we have left. And I think
good cheap defenses.
Yep, there's the Bengals that we all talked about we like.
Philly defense.
Philly, how much are they?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Washington.
Carson Wentz is going to have to show his true colors eventually, bud.
Mm-hmm. I also like attacking the Atlanta-Seattle game for 3,700 and 3,400.
I have Falcons on here.
Those are both good defenses. We'll stick with the Bengals for now, but we can circle back to this if we have to. Leaves us with 6,800. QB, do you guys want to go with Kyler or Jalen? What are you guys feeling?
Marcus Mariota. Let's go Jalen.
Yeah,
what do you think, BJ?
Yeah, Jalen's a good pick.
Jalen right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even need a receiver when you get Jalen because he's going to run 2 in by himself. Tight end?
Hits.
I was thinking about it too. I think it is the week. There's too much scrutiny in that offense. Pitts it is.
Can I give my touchdown call of the week?
Go ahead. Is it Kyle Pitts?
It's Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. I think this is the week too that he finally hits the end zone. Look how much money we have left for our flex position.
I really like Darren Waller too.
You like Waller?
I love Darren Waller. Yeah.
I can't get off Kelsey in my lineups, and Zach Ertz 5,100.
What the heck?
I have him in almost every lineup. He's averaging 11 points a game. He's the 4th ranked tight end. I don't get that. So anyone in this this little wheelhouse, I think Brandon Cooks is a sneaky upside play.
Very target heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, throw him in there, man. Look at his target share. It's crazy. He's getting 11, 10 at base. crazy.
I have
12, 10.
for my wide receiver picks. I have Brandon Cooks and Jacoby Myers for sneaky wide receiver plays.
I love that.
I like this lineup a lot.
How much money we got left?
$100.
Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
That's a good lineup. That's very, very high upside.
Yeah.
We're entering it. There you guys go. I got a couple Kyle Pitts lineups to do, throw them in there. But I'm really, really liking that. You have players. You have a lot of players here that can give you 25 on good days, and that is what we chase.
Touchdown call of the week, Kyle Pitts. Too much controversy in that room. They're not using him.
Yep.
They're going to get him involved.
So that's Andrews. BJ, what's your touchdown call of the week?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins?
Yeah. That's
a good touchdown call of the week. Oh, man. Well, I was going to say T. Higgins, but I wanted to say the same thing as you. I think the train keeps rolling. Amon-Ra St. Brown, touchdown this week. Breaks the record. He breaks the record.
In the lineup.
He's breaking the record, boys. Get him in your lineups. 7,800, way too cheap. Enjoy it. Enjoy the last week of him under 8,000 because he's about being 8,500. He's doing that slow Cooper Cup trajectory. Next thing you know, he's going to be 9,000. You're like, what the heck? And you're still going to need him. But this is our lineup of the week. We have less than a minute. Is there anything you guys want to share with the audience before we get out of here?
I think the Browns get a win tonight. I think the Browns win by 3.
I do think the Browns win too, but I'm just bitter at them.
Yeah.
I
think we need to touch base on Jonathan Taylor. I think that he has a good week this week.
I do too, and I think it's going to lower his ownership because he didn't play well last week. I was thinking that too. I threw him in some lineups for sure.
I need a win in Fantasy 1. So,
I think that
would be nice.
Because they didn't use him right. I think that I was reading the whole Indianapolis Twitter and everybody, all the fans, and they listen. The coaches see that and they listen, and I think they understand they got beat that bad because they didn't use him right. So they're going to, and I still think that way. I don't think Kansas City's run defense is that good.
Yeah, I'm with you. And they'll have to run the ball and manage the clock. So thanks for tuning in. Sorry guys, we lost them. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Fantasy Football Perspective, our weekly show, episode 3 of the Fantasy Football Locker Room. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment. Ask anything you want. I appreciate you all. Peace.